right, today we're going to unpack an article that really digs into a growing sense of unease in Ladakh. Now, just to be clear, our job here isn't to take sides. We're just laying out the claims and arguments from the source material so you can see the perspective being presented. So, with that said, let's get right into it. So, the author kicks things off by framing their entire analysis around a single, really powerful question. And they make a point of saying, hey, this isn't just my query. They claim it's a question that's being debated, and pretty intensely, right now, especially among the educated youth in Ladakh. And here it is. This is the core question the source puts forward. Is Ladakh safe under the RSS influence leaders and authorities? Now, for a bit of context, the RSS, or Rashtriya Swayamsev Sangh, is a major right-wing Hindu nationalist organization in India. So by framing the whole discussion this way, the author is really laying the foundation for their entire argument. They're presenting it as a question that comes directly from the Ladakhi community itself. Okay, so how do you even start to answer that big question? Well, the author's first move is to argue that what's supposedly happening in Ladakh isn't just some isolated event. Nope. They connect it to what they describe as a much broader, nationwide pattern of influence. The source alleges this pattern is a strategy of what it calls institutional capture. The claim is that individuals with ties to the RSS are being systematically placed into key positions of power. And to back this up, the author points to comments made in Parliament by opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, who, they note, made a very similar assertion. From there, the author uses a few historical allegations to build their case against the organization's credibility. And look, the source presents some very, very serious claims here. Things like linking the RSS to the British during the independence struggle, claiming a major role in Mahatma Gandhi's assassination, and asserting it had no role in India's development. All of this is presented as important background for the concerns being felt today. And to connect that historical context to the present day, the author points to a more recent example. They highlight a new school curriculum in Delhi called Rashtriya Niti, which apparently includes a lesson on the RSS. The argument here is that this shows the alleged pattern of influence isn't just history, it's an active, ongoing process. All right, so after setting that big national stage, the source zooms right back in. Now we're getting into the specific fears and frustrations that, according to the article, are being felt on the ground in Ladakh. The author describes this atmosphere where people just don't feel they can exercise their right to express. The claim is that without any local public representatives to act as a voice for the community, people are genuinely afraid to speak out, which, leads to this kind of climate of silence. To illustrate this, the author points to a specific incident involving a viral audio clip. And what they find so telling isn't just that someone was being abusive. The real question the author poses is, where did this person get the confidence to abuse us after living here, eating here, and earning their living in Ladakh? That detail is used to highlight this deeper feeling of disrespect that the author claims is felt by the local community. And these frustrations, they're not just political, they extend right into the economy. The source alleges that the local market has been monopolized. It claims that commerce is being controlled by outside business communities, referred to as Lalas and Sharmas, which supposedly puts the local Ladakhi population at a real disadvantage. The author then adds a couple more powerful grievances to this picture of local sentiment. First is a reference to the loss of 5 brother on 24 September, a tragic event that clearly still weighs heavily. And second, there's this deep feeling of political betrayal. The author cites what they call a government U-turn on the promise of getting a 6th schedule for Ladakh. Those are key constitutional safeguards, a promise the source claims was completely reversed after the election. So, in the middle of this atmosphere of fear and frustration that the author has described, they argue that the absence of one particular voice has made the whole situation that much worse. It's created what they see as a huge leadership void. The article specifically brings up an individual named Kaga Sonam Wangchuk and his channel as Shonyangstam. This channel is presented as having been a really vital source of information for people, keeping them updated and educated, particularly on those complex constitutional safeguards that we were just talking about. And now, in his absence, the author claims the result is this profound feeling of isolation. They literally say, we are like voiceless. The suggestion is that with this key channel gone, the people of Ladakh feel completely silenced, like their struggles and concerns just aren't getting out to the rest of India or the world. The article doesn't really end with a neat answer or a simple conclusion. Instead, it closes with one final, very provocative question. And it's a question that the author attributes to that same voice that's now gone silent, which frames it as a direct call to action. The question is, if not we, then who? If not today, then when? And that's the final note from the source material. It's a direct challenge, and not just to the people of Ladakh, but really to anyone reading. The author essentially reframes the entire piece. It's no longer just a list of grievances, but an urgent question about who bears the responsibility to act and when. It leaves the reader to think about, not just the specific situation in Ladakh, but the much bigger implications of inaction.